Well, we're down to our last two segments of our 10 tips in 10 days, and I want to focus now on you, the coach. And today we'll talk about getting ready for your practices and preparing. First tip is make sure the day before your practice or the day of that you take 10-15 minutes and write out your practice. Write out what you want to do at specific times, how long you want to take on that, so that your practices don't get bogged down and you keep the kids moving and keep them interested. Number two, before every practice, make sure you go over your rules and expectations for the players and the parents. This will take care of any confusion or any controversy that may come up during the season. What I like to do is line the kids up by the fence, have the parents sit in the bleachers, and I go over my 3 simple rules that I come up with. Number 1 is listen. Make sure your eyes and ears are on me or one of the assistant coaches while we're talking. Make sure you're paying attention. That's the quickest way to learn. Number 2 is make sure that you give it your best, 100%, and hustle all the time. If you go from the outfield to the infield, make sure that you're hustling. Even when we stop and take a break and you go and get something to drink, hustle, get back out on the field, because you want to start forming those habits, because when it's game time, you have 60 minutes, maybe 90 minutes to play a game if you're lucky. The quicker you get in and off the field, the more pitches, the more at-bats your kids are going to see. And then the third rule is simple, have fun. Make sure you're having fun while you're out there on the field. Make sure your kids are smiling. And those are the 3 big tips, the 3 big rules that I have, and I make sure my kids know those each and every time before we practice. And finally, the most important is I always tell my kids after I go over all of my rules that I will never yell at you for striking out, making an error, doing anything like that. But I will get on you if you're not hustling, if you're not paying attention, and you're goofing around. And you know what? It's going to happen. These kids are young. They're going to lose their interest sometimes. They're just not going to be focused on playing baseball or softball that day. And sometimes you got to kind of push them a little bit. But I have what I call an emotional bank account. And as long as you deposit praise and positive comments, even if it's a pat on the back for doing something right, or an attaboy, or a little fist knock, make sure that you're making those deposits into their emotional bank account. Make them feel good about themselves, because it's going to happen with every player at least once, probably a couple times during the season, where they're just not going to be focused and they're going to be goofing around and they want to have, the wrong type of fun at the wrong time, and you're going to have to come down on them. But when you do, and you tell them, hey, it's time to straighten up, let's play the game, they'll listen to you and they'll respect you because you've been filling up that emotional bank account. Tomorrow we'll get you ready for some fun things to do during your practice here at 10 Tips in 10 Days. I'm Bill Pollock of Missourinet.com.